Hey Reddit, long-time lurker, first-time poster. I've got a story of sweet petty revenge that I think you'll enjoy. So, I'm a 25-year-old guy living with a roommate, Chris, who's 27. We've been sharing an apartment for about a year. For the most part, things have been fine, except for one major issue. Chris has a bad habit of stealing my food. I'm not talking about just a slice of pizza or a spoonful of peanut butter. No, Chris would eat entire meals I had prepped for the week, leaving me hungry and frustrated. I tried talking to him about it several times, but he always brushed it off, saying he'd replace what he took, which he never did. It was infuriating. I couldn't figure out how to get him to stop. That is, until I decided to take matters into my own hands. One day, I noticed that Chris had a big date coming up. He'd been talking about it non-stop, how he was going to take this girl he really liked out to a fancy restaurant and finally make a good impression. That's when the idea hit me. I decided to make a special recipe just for him. I cooked up a batch of chili, knowing it was one of Chris's favorite dishes. But this wasn't just any chili. I added a generous amount of a certain sugar-free sweetener known to have a strong laxative effect when consumed in large quantities. I mixed it in thoroughly and labeled the container "John's Chili Do Not Eat." I then placed it prominently in the fridge, knowing Chris wouldn't be able to resist. Sure enough, the next day I came home to find the container empty. Chris had eaten the entire batch. He didn't mention anything, but I could tell by his smug look that he thought he had gotten away with it again. That evening, Chris got all dressed up for his date and left the apartment. I waited, anticipating what would come next. About 2 hours later, I got a frantic text from Chris. "Dude, what the hell was in that chili?" Turns out, midway through his date, Chris started feeling the effects of my special ingredient. They were at the restaurant when he suddenly had to excuse himself to the restroom multiple times. Eventually, he couldn't hold it anymore and had an accident right there at the table. His date was horrified and Chris was mortified. When he got back home, he was furious, but I played innocent. "I told you not to eat my food, Chris. Maybe next time you'll listen." Chris didn't find it funny, but he finally got the message. He stopped stealing my food after that, and our relationship became strictly cordial. So, moral of the story, if someone keeps taking what's yours, sometimes you need to give them a taste of their own medicine, literally. Thanks for reading, Reddit.